Hello and welcome to road.cc. Now your heart may have been swayed by the allure of carbon fibre, but that doesn't mean you should discount the performance or value for money of aluminium road bikes. Aluminium produces stiff and lightweight bikes that are a lot cheaper than carbon fibre, and thanks to the latest advances, aluminium can almost rival the weight of the best carbon frames, and also the smoothness too. It's come a long way from those old days when they were unfairly labelled as, well, harsh. Yes, we love a good aluminium bike here at road.cc, and we've rounded up 6 really good examples of the material at its wonderful best for this video. Now you lot know the drill by now. All these bikes are ones we've tested, so if it's not on the list, then we probably haven't tested it. So sit back and enjoy, and as ever, if you've got any comments, then hit us up. And if you like what you're watching, then hit that like button. So let's get started with 6 of the best aluminium bikes. If you want an aluminium bike with disc brakes and space for wide tyres and mudguards, then look no further than the beautiful Mason Definition. That's it, list done. All joking aside though, we absolutely loved the bike when we tested it a few years ago. And since then, it's been updated. And Jack took a look at it in the video linked just above. The Definition is designed in England by Mason, while the tubes are made by Didaci and the frame is welded in a small independent Venetian factory. It's a 4-season long distance machine with the manners of a tourer and the temperament of a race bike. With a long wheelbase, room for full mudguards with 28mm tyres and a relaxed looking front end, you'd be excused for thinking the Definition is some sort of Audax style winter trainer. But we all need a little bit of excitement in our lives, and when you give the pedals a kick, those Didaci tubes deliver a ride to challenge most race bikes. As the bends start to tighten and the speed increases, the tapered head tube and steerer combination comes into its own, giving a sharpness and directness to the steering. Aluminium alloy frames have always had a reputation for being harsh, but alloy tubing has had some real investment and technological advances over the last few years. And that means that these tubes are built into creating stiff frames without the bone-shaking characteristics. Now, admittedly, it's not cheap, but Mason is winning a lot of fans with the beautifully designed and high finish bikes that really suit the sort of riding a lot of British cyclists do. If you prefer racier and faster riding road bikes, then the KINESIS AITHEIN Evo is probably a bike for you. It's one of the lightest aluminium frames in the world and is lighter than some carbon frames that cost a heck of a lot more. So it's a good base for building a very fun, exciting, lightweight road bike for racing or mountain climbing. KINESIS as a brand think metal bikes, and in particular aluminium bikes, still have plenty of relevance today. Despite the hype surrounding carbon bicycle frames, they're keen to push alloy frame technology as far as it can go and make them competitive alongside those carbon ones. And the new AITHEIN Evo is a case of refinements rather than a massive leap forward. It retains the same super plastic formed aluminium tube set that allows for smooth profile transitions, most notably in the lower half of the seat tube, where it flows from the round tube to square section to beef up the bottom bracket stiffness. Now, one key change, and we're seeing this quite a lot, is a space for 28mm wide tyres. The other interesting and significant change is a switch from the previous press-fit bottom bracket, chosen for stiffness reasons, to a threaded external bottom bracket. This decision was made easier by changes to the seat tube design that ensured that despite a narrow bottom bracket, there was no loss in terms of stiffness. The geometry is pretty racy, which makes for an exciting, responsive ride. The AITHEIN would be a fantastic race bike. It's responsive enough and nippy enough to keep you at the sharp end of the peloton. Based around the geometry of CONDOR's top-end Leggero race machine, the latest Italia RC is blessed with sweet handling and a frame set that doesn't hang about when you stomp on the pedals. But first, let's talk about ride quality. This is one comfortable bike. More steel in feedback than typical aluminium, showing that those custom triple-butted tubes have been well spec'd and positioned. The Italia RC soaks up those little road vibrations better than most aluminium bikes that pass through the office, and a lot of those have hardly been what you'd call harsh. The Italia RC is hand-built in Italy from Condor's own tube specification, with triple butted tubes. This means that they're thicker at the ends for strength before getting a little thinner as they head towards the centre, and then the middle part being the thinnest of all. A tapered head tube accommodates a full carbon fork that adds to the front end stiffness. Front and rear you can squeeze in 28mm tyres, which to be honest is as much as you're going to need on a bike of this ilk, and it worked just perfectly with the 25mm rubber supplied. It's a beautiful bike to ride, and if you want to cover a lot of miles at a fast pace and in relative comfort, the Condor is very much in that top flight of exceptional aluminium alloy framed bikes. And to round it all off, it's a stunning looking frame in the flesh. Well, at least in our opinion anyway. Thumbs up if you agree with us. One of the very best aluminium road bikes we've ever tested is the Bowman Cycles Palace R. It delivered outstanding levels of performance and excellent handling. It's an exceptional race machine, just perfect for pushing you up the points table in your local league or smashing that PB on your favourite loop. Compared to the previous Palace, the new Palace R feels a bit more settled at speed, bringing a slightly more planted feel over rough road surfaces, and with that, even more confidence to push things right to the edge. It's millimetre perfect through the bends, and it really flies when you push hard on the cranks. The way the Bowman responds to your effort is phenomenal, and it's something you never tire of as you sprint to the next group or just drop the hammer for that village sign sprint. This translates to a decent climbing machine too. Whether you're out of the saddle or seated, the Palace R stands firm, that new profiled seat tube obviously doing its job at the bottom bracket junction. A wider down tube has allowed Bowman to switch from the previous press fit to external threaded bottom bracket, which we think will get the thumbs up from most people. The Palace R is made from triple butted 6069 aluminium tubes, and the new version has a thinner tube wall and reshaped tube profiles to lower the weight and improve the comfort. And importantly, it does all that without sacrificing any of the stiffness. So if you want a bike to race or just get out there and blast around on, then the Bowman Palace R needs to be right there at the top of your wish list. It's sensibly priced, and you're going to struggle to find anything near it that offers such a punchy, thrilling and grin-inducing ride. Now, conversations about aluminium bikes often, inevitably, lead to Cannondale's iconic CAD series of frames. One of the few big companies that still regularly invests in aluminium. The CAD 12 is the latest in a long line of aluminium race bikes, and it's still one of the best riding aluminium frames that money can buy. It's available either with rim brakes or discs, so you can choose your favourite braking system, and it means that we don't have to argue about it in the comment section below. Following the popular and likeable CAD 10 was always going to be a tough act, but Cannondale has succeeded in not only retaining the key qualities of the previous model, but also improving the ride quality. It's nothing short of marvellous. It's a finely honed bike with a level of comfort and refinement that makes you wonder why you'd buy anything else, and certainly asks questions of the short lifespan of aluminium and cutting edge of racing bike technology back in the 90s. It's so smooth that it outshines many carbon fibre road bikes that we've tested over the years. And while the comfort impresses, the handling really shines. The stiffness of the frame and fork gives the CAD 12 a very direct and agile ride. It's sharply focused and feels very engaging through corners and on fast descents, with a crispness of control that's lacking in most bikes. If you like your bikes fun and entertaining, you'll love the CAD 12. The handling is fast and direct when being ridden at pace, and it never becomes skittish or erratic. The steering is direct and sharp, and it's a focused bike. The material and geometry come together to form a beautiful ride. Aluminium bikes are commonly overshadowed by lighter and fancier carbon fibre frames, but if you're in any doubt that an aluminium bike should at least be considered, then you really ought to arrange a demo of the CAD 12. It really is that good. The ZENIUM SL from VITUS is a fast endurance bike with the superior stopping power of disc brakes. In every other respect, the ZENIUM is a big orange bundle of fun that's quick on the flat and grin-inducingly swoopy on twisty descents, while being civilised on the climbs. Now, you don't expect an almost 9kg bike to fly up the hills, but the ZENIUM doesn't feel sluggish when climbing, just calm and measured, while being plenty stiff too. Its frame is made from butted 6066 T6 aluminium alloy tubes. This has a slightly higher fatigue strength than the more common 6061 T6 aluminium, so less of it is needed to make the frame. Up front is an all-carbon fork with a tapered steerer. Both the front and rear dropouts take through axles, and there's clearance for 30mm tyres, though if you do go that fat, there won't leave much space under the fork crown, but the back end is a little bit roomier. The geometry is at the racy end of the endurance bike envelope, but there's 3cm of spacers if you want the bar a little bit higher. You can get a comfortable fit on the VITUS easily. It's right at home, logging the big miles on an all-day ride. It's not just comfortable, it's great fun to ride too. Racy, but without being a hectic handful. Its behaviour owes more to European stage race bikes than super quick turning Criterion ones. And despite all of that, it's great value too. So there you have it. Those are 6 of our favourite aluminium bikes that we've tested here at road.cc. Now, of course, there are lots of other aluminium bikes that we could have included, but which bikes would you love to see on our next roundup of aluminium bikes? Let us hear your suggestions down below. If you like this video, then remember to give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe for videos like this every week on road.cc. And as always, thanks for watching.